Okay, let's see. So, how's it going, everybody? Uh, so I'm just gonna do an update on this. I was pretty productive today. I got a personal camera into the VR Underground, VR Darknet, and Basis ecosystem. A lot of the stuff that I'm working on right now is going to be just handed off to Dooley so that it can be integrated into Basis. What do we have? What we have right now is a very rudimentary stream and photo camera. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick test of this, and we should be in a pretty good spot on this front. And honestly, it's been a pretty interesting experience. I'm actually really enjoying doing the technical stuff that would go into the design and overall UI elements and overall like just experience of a an actual social VR platform. Um, like it's just really fun, and it's come together, and this is all going to be open source and uh, everything like that. So you can go ahead and copy my code and do whatever, make it better. So I'm going to right now. All right, let's go to the initialization. We load this. Uh, so right now, in the current state of things, we have two things that are pretty close. Toggle chat bubble. So this is a floating chat bubble. And basically the way this works is that when you use the UI to enable it, you can type in hello world, right? And then this is actually synced over the network so other people can see the text that you type in. And then once we attach one of these to every single player in the world, then people will be able to actually communicate using just text. So we got a chat bubble. This was one of the main features that people were requesting a lot of. That and so it was like floating chat bubble and the and comfort turning. That was actually pretty necessary as well. So comfort turning has been added. Uh, it kind of blows my mind a little bit because a lot of this stuff like was I mean, I've kind of it's really interesting the insight on this as we're kind of like rounding around how do I fucking word this? I'm sorry. I'm a little sleep deprived at the moment, but I'm sitting here and now I have my personal camera. Okay, let me get to what I was actually saying. It's interesting to have the insight right now that that I can gain kind of seeing how these systems actually work and everything like that, like and getting an idea of what it's actually like to work on one of these. And honestly, I probably should have at least I don't know, like this is like pretty good. So like let's see. I took a few pictures before, but let's take a picture that is obviously not something that's like yeah. So we'll get a picture of VR Underground in the background, and you can just barely kind of see and kind of zoom in a little bit. For some reason, these photos are taking longer than they should. But if you so the 5 second delay thing is working. Change mode doesn't work in desktop, so I haven't had a chance to actually do this, but there's actually also a stream camera, in which case I should probably try and test that too, so that we can actually, like, I don't know. I'm gonna be able to actually like enable a stream mode, and I have it all working right now. So the only thing that I really need to get working at this point in time is is how you see that little circle there, that sphere? I'm gonna have to go into Blender real quick and just model out a lens so that we can kind of see what it is, and then I'm gonna have to figure out. So this can be kind of complicated, but basically the way it's gonna go is when the camera is enabled, a boolean gets turned true, and we then start updating over the network to everybody in the lobby uh, where my camera is, right? And then um, so like other people can see where the lens is and everything like that. I'm basically just one for oneing like VR chat on this point in time right now. So if I go ahead and I take a picture like super close, got VR on the ground, I'm like up right up close to my face. I'm gonna do this real quick. Watch this. Ah. All right, you see that? I actually took a picture. So let's see. Oops. Look at this. These are some racy pictures. I get kind of bored and I just yeah, I really need to be on my male avatar. That does look pretty damn nice though, but it's a little weird. Okay, this is a weird one too. But you see, this is the picture that I just took, and it's in my gallery next to all my VR chat pictures now. There it is. There it is. So we have a camera. We actually have a camera that works correctly. It took me one day to do this. I literally started this project today. So yeah. It's the same thing with the floating chat bubble. They're not really that complicated. I'm not kidding. It's really not that bad. Like I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, why did the devs on these projects like take so long to do such simple stuff? And I don't know. To me right now the camera is probably the most complicated thing. Mainly because it's just got a lot of stuff on it like that is going to take a lot of time in order for us to be able to actually get it all together. But like it's pretty nice being able to have like a camera and everything like that. Uh, the problem is that in VR, when you have the change mode and you can actually turn on the stream camera, it's gonna be a little bit different in terms of like the movement and stuff like that, right? So there's like some things that I gotta watch out for when it comes to like VR mode, and I can kind of picture myself actually having to adjust a lot of things and basically everything like that. But for the most part, I mean, we're here and baseline functional. Not bad for one day's work. But let's see. I also want to try and get some like some sounds for like when the camera gets taken. So that also has to get synced over the network as well. Whenever somebody takes a picture, I want to have a audible picture taking sound that's worldwide that's low. Um, so that you can hear whenever a picture is taken. Now, I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm planning to also work on as well, which is going to be the notifications for when people leave and join. That's really not going to be that difficult. That's actually a very simple thing. The hardest thing about that is going to be figuring out how to attach it to the player's head in a way that's not jittery. Um, honestly, like, oh well, I don't know. Actually, yeah, you can just parent a lot of this stuff to the player's uh, bone, like bones and stuff like that. But if I switch avatars, is that gonna have some kind of like overall effect? I'll have to take a look to see how like some of the UI elements are already placed, and then see if I can parent, do some manual parenting of those kinds of UI elements. Um, but it is a little strange to me that there's some of the things like I don't know. I feel like the development of Basis has a potential of being a lot faster, especially if people start, really coming in and helping out. Like I'm gonna have a host of features functional by January, which is the next Darknet event. So we'll have a personal camera, we'll have a reworked UI, we'll have potentially let's see, we have floating text bubbles. We have a personal mirror. Personal mirror is going to be really easy. I'm not even worried about that one. So the personal mirror is going to be it's kind of really kind of depending on Cat to be able to get the uh, we're going to want to have pickups and interactables. So we can do the personal mirror. But personal mirror is also slightly dependent on having a radial menu, and I'm not really sure how I want to go about doing a radial menu. I have a feeling that a radial menu is really not that crazy overall, um, but it will be it's not something that I've ever done before, so it'll be an interesting experience to actually get that all set up and everything like that. Um, we're in a pretty good spot with this. I'm trying to think how many other things, like I might even do stickers, like the VR chat stickers. Those are really not going to be that hard to do either. And the funny thing about that is in Basis, you could just link any picture you want. So people could just, you're gonna have to follow the rules, okay? You start like putting stickers of really nasty shit in the world, you're gonna get in trouble. But like in the VRU the darknet, we're not gonna care about like somebody slapping some boobies on the wall or something like that, because here in the darknet we run by different rules. It's definitely a lot more free flowing. It's, it's good words, right? It's a good word. Anyway, yeah, this is actually pretty fun though. So let me take a look real quick at uh, what stuff that I'm already kind of cooking up at the moment. Um, so in here we have player utility system. So the player utility system is going to be a script that controls which of these things are enabled, and then you can enable, disable them uh, properly with the player utility system script. So whatever overarching thing that Dooley has or whatever is going to be probably just plugging into the player utility system, which is like the manager for all of the different player utility things that can go down here. Notification system, emojis. Emojis are going to be pretty straightforward too, but I think the hardest part about that is that we're going to have some kind of a it's going to spawn an object that uh, fires off one particle effect and then disappears, and that'll be emojis. Once again, I'm also beholden to having some kind of a radial menu or something like along those lines. So pickups and radio menus are kind of uh, sort of your linchpin features that kind of hold back the rest of other things in order to be able to fully be realized. But it, for the most part, we could be in a, I don't know. We'll have a personal camera. We'll have a personal mirror. We'll have floating text bubbles. We'll have emojis, and we'll have a notification system. And if I'm feeling spicy, I might just say and just add stickers or something like that too. Um, the main menu, the hamburger menu has to go. Like we gotta like get something that's better and more well designed. I can I'm I'm not awful at UI design. Like I could I could certainly be worse. But it would be really cool to have somebody who's like a rock star at fucking at uh at making like really slick UIs and maybe doing something that's totally unique to the entire VR space or whatever, and just like really dig in and make something that feels tighter than than anything that exists currently in the space. Like there's a lot of potential here for the kind of innovation that we might drive. Um, I mean, visually everything is pretty damn amazing, but there's a lot of it's a very clunky setup right now because it's all so early in development, right? So I'm pretty satisfied at the moment too. It's just one of the it, I, I'm probably just gonna have to say this. I probably shouldn't, but I mean I don't wanna call people out too hard, but um it's taken years for some of these features to be added to. I, I really don't know why it would take years to do this. If it takes me one day to do stuff like this, I don't know or understand the this. It's kind of grim, like in terms of like the overall social VR space a little bit. Just I have over the last 7 years in the space felt absolute limitation. absolute absolute waiting infinitely for somebody to finally add that cool feature that we needed. And like even in the case of VR chat, like where they're predominantly pretty much got their stuff together uh, at this point in time, and they're actually working on stuff and adding features now. Um, I feel a little like I feel a little bit like it's just been so frustrating, and now this is so freeing. This is just so. Thank God. Thank God for this opportunity because I really care about like pushing boundaries in this space and like getting further and actually doing stuff that just getting shit together and doing things that are just more cutting edge and everything like that. And I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. We have suffered almost a decade just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a lot of developers in the social VR space to just lift a finger sometimes. And well, anyway, I probably shouldn't dwell on it too much. And I am a little bit sleep deprived, so I apologize. I'm not trying to be mean or rude or anything, but god damn, man, like you have got to be kidding me. So let's see. There's obviously issues with this camera still, but I need to make it so that the lens is visible to all players. The camera plays a sound when you click it, and I gotta add a limitation to how far you can fly the camera. Um, that'll be that'll be an interesting one. Uh, yeah, and possibly even make it so that the camera can't fly through walls. This was something that hasn't even been added to VR chat yet. I don't think, but um, actually, I come to think about it, I can't remember quite for sure if that's actually the case. If they've made the camera not capable of flying through walls, I don't know. But yeah. So we're in a pretty good spot with things right now. Things are coming together. We're getting to see uh, some progress on this whole thing. Um, yeah, and I know that there's probably people who are still a little bit confused with like what kinds of stuff, like what exactly am I doing? Am I creating a competitor to VR chat? And the answer is actually no. I'm not actually wanting to do that. What I'm trying to do is something very niche, something that's very different, something that's never happened before. This is the first time we have the ability to develop a platform just for a single community like the VRU or a hub community like the VRU to be able to have the capabilities of giving us something that we can genuinely um, stay mostly independent. Now, the goal isn't going to be to try and make something that can hold hundreds of thousands of players. It's something that I want to do where we have maybe a couple thousand players at peak or something like that. And even then, those couple thousand players will translate to maybe 100 people showing up. Basis ecosystem is capable of housing lobbies that are larger than 80 players. The last stress test got up to about I can't remember the exact. It was 120 plus 125, something like that. We got up to 125 players before it crashed. I can't remember the exact number. Apologize on that, but it's a pretty good. It was a pretty good amount. Some of the other things that's going on here as well, and I can actually show it, is that we have audio link now. So while there's only just two lights here, these lights are rendering properly in both players' eyes, properly grabbing screen color, properly doing all of the functionality and everything that we're gonna want to have for us to be able to do like really good stage lighting and 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 things along those lines. This place will get spruced up to a point where it's at least on par visually, if not better, than the Oasis 1.0 version of the castle. So this is a more modernized version of it. And over here is where we're going to put our cards and pool tables and games and arcade machines and stuff. And we'll probably put the card table up here in this spot. I'm thinking card table here, and then we just whatever arcade or flavor of the month, like arcade games or things of that nature. So it'll be like a little mini arcade down here, and people can like hang out. Um, the uh, the the overall goal of this is just to be able to run events that are independent of VRChat with a different TOS, with my rules instead of VRChat's rules. And it is a 18 plus environment strictly, which means that uh, all of the applications will be easy to fill out. We'll ask very basic questions, and then you submit it, and then somebody who's on staff will take a look at it and then give you the ability to use login credentials, which don't currently exist. That's kind of just the future plans of the entire concept at the moment. Um, I have a lot of ideas on like kind of what I want to do with the UI and everything like that specifically for the darknet. The darknet is named the darknet because I intentionally want it to be a forbidden fruit. I want it to be something that's a little what the fuck, like what is this? I want it to be a thing that people know about, but not everybody can get in. If you can get into the darknet, then you know you're going to be able to experience a piece of the VR space that not that many people are going to really be able to ever see, and that is actually a thing. Like, and it doesn't take much. I mean, the bar for success on in terms of what I want, um, a couple hundred players is easily achievable. I'm pretty sure. Now, the really cool thing about this whole thing is that it flows differently than um, VRChat does, in that it's more like an MMO in terms of the flow in general. I want to have an experience that is a little bit more persistent. It's not about hopping to lobbies or changing worlds, so to speak. It's more like you walk into a club, or you walk up to the front door of a club on this like on this hub area that's like this like dingy, like very Blade Runner-esque, very beat up and like old, like futuristic city that's sort of a little bit dystopian in some nature, because I want to kind of have this sort of allure of this forbidden kind of atmosphere that's just straight up fucking Johnny Mnemonic, fucking Blade Runner, just straight up like that, where you walking in and like there's girls dancing on the fucking outside of the club, and there's a bouncer standing outside, and if you want to walk in, like you gotta like let him, he has to let you in and stuff like that, like just straight up, like right out of Cyberpunk, like right out of that kind of whole experience where, like, when you go from one place to another, you actually physically walk from one club to the next club or the next location, and there could be different types of events. And needless to say, since the TOS is not going to restrict on NSFW content because it's strictly a 18 plus experience and not a, and we're going to be heavily vetting anyone who can actually get in. We're not. It's gonna have a very strong, a very prominent focus on that kind of content. So you will actually see, um, like just NSFW events, but not just that, but flaunting it in a way that's like really never been seen before. Walking into a red light district in this, you know, highly detailed city environment with everything like not like the Oasis what you're experiencing in VR chat, but like a very densely and detailed, fully utilizing everything that Unity 6 has to offer as much as possible within my capabilities, and just seeing people walking back and forth between clubs and in different locations, and uh, just sort of like bustling city kind of a concept, and that's sort of like what the target idea is. And the red light district, like um, you're not going to be able to stream that. You're not going to be able to stream in the darknet on Twitch. You're just not going to be able to, because there's going to be nudity everywhere. There's going to be people. There's going to be a lot of just very lewd stuff, and you're just not going to be able to get away from it. So Twitch streamers are really just not going to be able to survive in this space. I highly don't recommend somebody try to stream on YouTube or Twitch in this particular case, unless they're very careful about it to not get banned, as an 18 plus environment. Now, that also means that there's a possibility as well that there could be a contingent of people who stream on Fansly, and fans, something along those lines. And it's completely feasible that there could be places that people can rent out that allow them to do their Fansly streams, and they don't have to worry about getting banned, because I'm not going to ban anybody. I will have a very lax TOS, which mostly the strictest rules will be involved making sure that there are no underage avatars or players, and that it is very hard for them to even to exist here. And if anything like that happens, they'll be instantly banned, and they will never come back. Once you're just gonna have to go back to VR chat if that was the case. So it's a it, it there's a lot of possibilities with what I want to try to achieve, um, and I have no idea what's going to happen. But I can definitely tell you right now, it's meant to be something like just right out of sci-fi, man. It's gonna. I want something that's just right out of some kind of sci-fi. It's like 1990s sci-fi, man. It'd be fucking sick as shit. And that's. Oh man, I'm just. I'm already looking forward to it. You know. I'm pretty sure now. Dooley says that there's a strong possibility that there will be like what are we gonna have? We're gonna have like a Um, we're gonna have maybe the ability to fill lobbies with 250 players. I'm kind of on the fence about going over 100 players per lobby, because kind of feel a little bit like, well, here's what 100 players looks like here, right? When you look at a wall, like that's 100 people. And to me, it starts getting a little bit bogged down already. Like it's already going to be kind of hard to like deal with looking at this wall that has like that many names on it. And if there were actually 200 people here, this place would be absolutely jam packed, right? Um, which I guess would be an absolute blast. And the cost of servers and everything like that is really not that bad, for the scale of what it is that I'm trying to do. So this could end up kind of sparking a whole, sort of darknet ish style community hub social system that kind of breaches past the standard social VR experience and starts to get into something that's a little bit more focused, a little bit more themed. You come here and you don't even have to role play in order for you to experience what exactly this is, because you're actually here. This is It is what it is. There's no like pretending to be this character. You're literally in a sci-fi movie now. And yeah, I kind of feel a little bit like, maybe it's been this way for a long time, and maybe we've been kind of in a sci-fi movie for the last 10 years, but it's really starting to feel that way. And in all honesty, the potential of something like this. I mean, I won't be the only one to do this. What I feel is going to happen is that people are going to see what I'm doing. They're going to realize that it's open source, and that a lot of the resources and everything that I've provided to develop the basis framework is going to be available to other people, and then they can follow in my footsteps, improving or reworking or doing a different theme or doing something that is, for a different type of community, or whatever, or what have you. So um, I think that other people are going to be you know trying this out if I am successful with this. And any support that I have right now, you are supporting this, the beginnings of something that has never happened before. So, like, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this. And I don't think I'm going to be the only one to benefit. I think that many people have opportunities to benefit greatly from a new ecosystem of this style occurring. It doesn't mean that I'm in competition with VR chat. I don't want that. What I want is to have to be a community that has its own space that can survive outside of VR chat, and have it be like an exclusive and very different experience, something that, well, you honestly, you can never experience in VR chat, because they simply are never going to provide the resources or tools, because it takes them too long to do anything anyway. And even if they do, I'll have already done it years before they even got around to understanding what the hell I'm even doing. So it's yeah, like let's face it, a lot of these developers, I don't know, they appear to not be able to change a UI element, or like update their fucking graphics interfaces. I don't know. So we'll have to see how this goes. But this is a very positive thing and everything like that. So I'm trying to think of what else like there is to really get into at the moment. Um, it's nice to be able to have the progress and everything like that. I apologize if I'm being a little bit too down on developers. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, but even still, in this particular case, we have this like really interesting thing that could could happen. And um, I don't know what's going to be the end result of this. I just know that I'm going to pour some resources into it, and I have connections. I know who to talk to. I know who who to bring. I know who to book. I know who, like, I have a lot of stuff going on all at the same time, and uh and it's, I don't know, like, it's yeah. I'm just speechless. So yeah, this is, I don't know, man. So I think that actually about covers it, because I can't really think of anything else. And usually when I say that is the moment I remember something else that I needed to talk about. All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end this video here. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, stay tuned, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Now keep in mind, just because I'm doing stuff over here doesn't mean that uh, the VRU Oasis is not also going to see significant things. The plan moving forward is in January, I'm going to begin running Darknet events weekly. Um, and get this venue. So it's going to start off as just this venue for a while, and then we're going to continue getting the infrastructure of this entire of the basis eco, the framework, basis framework ecosystem from which the VRU Darknet is built upon into a reasonably good state by providing features and improvements. And then what I'm going to do is begin the actual, well, the real darknet. When you first log in, you're going to be in you know, a densely detailed city environment at nighttime in the rain, or maybe like random like weather sometimes. Like, I know I talked about having weather effects in the VRU Oasis, but like this is going to be a very, very atmospheric kind of, dingy city environment, something along these lines. Um, we're gonna You're gonna log in an alley like this, and then you're gonna walk down the street a little bit, and then you'll see the castle. The front doors to go into the castle. And instead of an elevator here, what we're gonna see is a staircase, and it goes down. Like, you come down a staircase, and then you walk into here, and then this door is closed, and these windows are closed, and then you open it up, and then you can now enter, and there'll be a bunch of people and stuff like that, right? So, um, yeah, it, that's going to be a pretty big job because I want to actually put a pretty reasonable amount of infrastructure in place to be able to make sure that the open world and the red light district all flow in a concise way that feels interesting. And if you go left, you'll end up in the red light district, and if you go right, you'll end up in a space that's slightly more safe for work, but I wouldn't risk it, kind of kind of a thing. Um, and like hotel rooms and um, different areas that have like different styles, like comfy environments for people to just chill, but they're all persistent. When you go to one of these environments, you're actually there. It's not just a lobby, it's literally a server that's always up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you walk back and forth between these places, forming a genuinely different experience that has yet to ever happen in the space, because it's literally impossible to do it otherwise. So, um, all right, let's end it on that note. And yeah, sorry I've been talking for so long, but I can blab forever. All right, take it easy, guys.